Well, today I'm going to talk about President Obama and the Democratic Party in the news again with the determination to bring the health care plan to a vote in the House and in the Senate, despite the fact that they still have not taken out abortion funding. They have altered it a little bit, but the government would still be paying a fee, and this is not satisfactory to the pro-life people and the pro-life Congress members, so they're fighting it. And I think on this occasion I've received email that tells how the president and right now Pelosi, who is Speaker of the House, plan to try to get this health care plan signed into law with what they want in it. So I have already put what the gist of the way they're going to try to do it through the reconciliation process, where only 51 votes are required in the Senate rather than the 60, which they don't have right now, to pass it. They will go to a vote in the House first, and this is where we, the pro-life people, hope that the pro-life Democrat House members, as well as the Republicans, will stand firm and will not let this health plan pass with abortion funding, because abortion funding will not lower abortion deaths, it will expand them. This makes sense. If abortion is paid for, then a lot more people are going to be tempted to use it, to use the service. And of course, the abortion providers have been lobbying for this. They have been lobbying for money because during the economy, abortions have been down across the nation, probably because the price of abortion couldn't be afforded. But that does show you that, and also births have been down. So this kind of shows you that when people are very poor and they don't have resources, they can control, there's an indication that they can control pregnancies. So I'm going to talk about just a dialogue about abortion, because we haven't seen it. We do not see these kind of dialogues in our daily papers. They have not been in there for a long time. And this was the trend when abortion was legalized. The trend became to start just shutting off the protests and the pro-life people that were still trying to protest that this wasn't right. And I was one of these people that kept trying to protest, and I would do it every single time that I felt a column was printed in my paper from some columnist who I felt was actually promoting abortion. They were giving all the reasons why abortion should be acceptable. And every time I would read them, I would find flaws in their thinking, and I would send off a letter. Well, my letter would never be printed. So this became the big trend, and the trend was less people were getting their say. And at the same time, papers were, I suppose they thought they were simplifying, putting out a newspaper every day. They were starting to just use a few columnists across the nation. So you would get one columnist, say Ellen Goodman, who was Boston Globe, she's pro-choice. They would use her columns every few days. And the trend became, we make a few columnists famous. We give them our space. And what traditionally had happened in the cities before with the newspaper is that newspaper promoted people in their city. They developed people. They gave space to the writers and thinkers of their community. When they went national, was this an improvement? To just have a few? So pretty soon, the national columnists were not really able to address each city's problems. So they just sort of talked in general about what they believed. And the quality of the newspaper thinking and writing on the editorial page went down. You did not get the variety. You did not get all of the people's minds working on the problem. I'm a playwright. Years ago, I had plays done in Phoenix. Newspapers did not cooperate. They did not cooperate. It was like they were what? They did not want to develop their own local playwrights? No. This was the trend. This was the thinking. Is that good thinking for a newspaper not to develop their own people? So then what ended up happening? Like here in Arizona, over and over and over again, we have the same people in the news. Arpaio. Everybody knows Arpaio. He's famous. So they're constantly writing about Arpaio. You know how sick some of the rest of us get of opening up our newspaper? Oh, another article about Arpaio and all of his shenanigans. That's what happens when you stop developing other thinkers in your community. When you stop having a variety. Then you get down to just two or three people you're writing about in your community, 2 or 3 columnists that across the nation that you are printing. You are not printing the news. You are not acting as a responsible, developing a developing means. The newspaper has always done that. And when they stopped doing it, then it started to become irrelevant. It started to become shallow. It started to not address everybody's thoughts and feelings about things like abortion. And then the people who did not believe in abortion began to feel that they were being very much neglected and slighted by the newspapers, which they were, since they were not printed. And so that's why I started blogging, started making videos just to get out a dialogue about what you can object to in abortion funding. Because you're not going to get this discussion. If I wrote a letter right now about it to my local newspaper, they would not print it. They're still not doing it. They're still picking and choosing. Because if you're only going to print a few, pretty soon you're just printing what you think. You're just printing people to echo what you believe as a newspaper writer. So people, that's what we need in America. We need to pay more attention to all the people. All the people. However we're going to do it, that is what's going to make our thinking processes in our country stronger. Yes, there might be disagreement, but if we have more people talking from all sides of the question, we're surely going to have a better dialogue. That's what I have to say, and I'm going to be saying some more as we come up closer to the vote on health care.
Yeah,
I do not want to see abortion funding in government. No.